Hey folks, it's Tor here again, Appalachian Grit. I want to talk about practical, functional things. I want to talk about how I rationalize functional prep. I'm in a rural area, very, very rural. I don't know what your situation is, but here's my strategy. Because I'm already technically bugged out according to most, but it is what it is. But the reality is I've got millions of acres around here. All right. What I do is I have caches set up. You're not going to ever find them because I've got dozens of them. Each one has over a month worth of food in it. And meat, canned meat. Meat that I canned myself, and it's good for a decade. All right. And I bury them. Hopefully deep enough, but not too deep because you just don't want it to be found by others, and don't make the marking obvious. But I suggest you do the same thing. If you want to know what type of stuff that you can cache, because people are going to come for you regardless, whether it be government or whether it be vigilantes, whether it be like the Venezuelan gang for me, or it was a hit, one of the two. Somebody probably paid them to come try and whack me. Either way, whatever. The point is shit's getting squirrely out there, people. And you don't know what's coming down the pike for you and your family. So storing all of your preps in your house is probably not a good idea. Unless you're highly defensible, but even then, if a government force comes, you may need to bug out of your bug out. And you may need to retreat. What are you going to do if you have to leave your main bulk preps behind? All right, you got to think like a strategic, like a war fighter, unfortunately. And put it out in stages, because I can disappear where I'm at. I mean, this is a lot, where I'm at is where a lot of outlaws disappear for decades or for the rest of their lives. They come out here to disappear. All right, this is just the place. This is the place to do it. Deep Appalachia, man. But you got to think like that, because people are unstable and they're being weaponized. I said herded like goldfish. They are. And it's all for you and me, the believer. All right? They want to make us public enemy number one, and they're turning neighbor against neighbor. So think practically about those things. And you need to have multiple routes, and you need to bury them in places other people will not find them. And they need to be waterproof, obviously. And if it's metal, make sure it does not have moisture, because those can lids will rust through, especially underground. What I use is either sealable poly 55-gallon drums filled. Gunshots. It is hunting season. That was far enough off. It happens out here. Stray bullets are a real thing out here. But anyways, my dogs will let me know if he gets closer. Anyways, I use 55-gallon drums buried in the ground, deep enough where nobody's going to find it or notice it. But it's filled with all sorts of dry goods. You want to see a good video on how to do dry food storage? Go check out my buddy Buzz. Shit, buddy, I just woke up. Hold on, I'm looking it up. The Survival Buzz. He's a good channel. He does a video on it, or a few videos on it, how to do bulk dry food storage. Do it. He does rice, beans, things like that. That's what you're going to need. And then don't forget your meats. If you can get cheap beef or whatever the hell, anything you can get, you can can. I do it the Amish way. You can do pressure canning, but you don't have to. People call it rebel canning. It's how everybody's been canning forever. Here's the trick. Cut whatever meat it is into small enough pieces. I put a little salt in there. Maybe a little bit of water in the bottom. And then I pack the meat in as best I can after it's sterilized and everything like that, the can. Pack it up, leave a little room on top. All right, I'll add a little bit more salt on top just to draw out the juices to get a nice head. You don't need to add any water with meat. Maybe chicken you probably should, but whatever. Look online for that shit. Just put the lid on, finger tight, stack them in a big... what I'd use if I'm doing bulk, a 55-gallon drum, like a metal one. I would fill it up with cans, fill it up with water, light a fire under it, and then once it comes to a boil, so let it slow boil up. Once it comes to a boil, then set your timer for 90 minutes. So let it boil for 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, move the fire outside the way, let it cool down. When you can get in there or drain the water out, just let it cool naturally. And then you should be good to go. Check the lids, take the rings off, make sure it's good to go. Once it's room temp, let it sit for however long it needs to. Put these in your caches. Because you can get, I don't have any on hand right now, but I've got every size canning jar. I have a pallet of them. And that's on top of all the other stuff that I've already used. I don't know how expensive they are, but very good idea to can your own meats now. Canning meat's not that hard and it's not that scary, and you don't need to pressure can them. I can't give you advice. USDA bullcrap. Go do your own research, people. But that's what I do. That's what I've done. And I've got dozens of these caches out there. And watertight, sealable, or sealed, they're sealed, but they're sealable poly 55-gallon drums. And I bury them in the ground. And I fill them up with all my dry storage and all my meat. And extra things like ammo, survival gear, medical kit. Simple things, maybe even whatever you could think of that you may need if you have to flee from your position that you're at, your home, or your farmstead, or your bunker, wherever the hell you're at, or your bug out location. Just because an enemy comes, they may ransack what you've got, but you could always come back to it once they're gone. If, say, it's like overwhelming force, you may have to retreat. But if you have caches out there, you can live indefinitely, and guerrilla warfare is a real deal. Like me as a one-man army, I don't care if it's a group of 20, 30 folks that come here and set up camp in my little farmstead, homestead area. I'll Rambo their ass. I'll take them out one by one, guerrilla warfare style. You know what I mean? I'll get it back eventually. But either way, I could survive indefinitely out there. Stupid flies. I'm almost looking forward to winter. Oh, man. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. I'm going to leave it there, but let me know what you think. Am I missing anything? Is there something else? Well, comment your situation. I mean, because I don't know. If you're still in the cities or even suburbs, like I was watching a video yesterday, like if you're in, you got to figure out your routes in and out. Because if you can't, these flies are nuts because I'm talking. That's why they're buzzing me. Figure out the logistics of your travel. Are there choke points? Can you avoid them? Because you can't walk the roads, people. That's navigation 101. You never walk the roads in a time of, in that kind of, if you're trying to stay, safe and outside, off the radar, you don't walk the roads. You can skirt the roads, but at a distance. But you've got to watch out now for AI camera grids, a whole host of things. And these task force are going to eventually be turned on us, and these are what we're going to have to deal with. The best strategy is to set up defenses, deterrence. If you have to, retreat and do what I said. Put caches where no one else will find it. Only you know where they are. And the more the merrier. Because what you do throughout the years coming up is you just go start, just like you'd cycle your preps anyways. You go do it. I'm already all out and about. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you get it. If you want a part 2, we could talk about more details, maybe your specific situation and what I'd do in it. I don't know. You let me know. We'll talk to you later. Read your Bible. Do what it says. Shit's getting squirrely out there. See ya.